is up, my friends? I hope you guys are having a great day today. I know I am, because I get to sit here and talk to you guys about movies. And today, we're talking about a couple of movies. Not just one, I say not just two. We're talking about two movies. And I'm not going to review them independently, because I've already done that once April when they came out. We're going to be talking about Rebel Moon Part 1 and 2 Director's Cuts. I'm talking about them both in one review, because if you want to go back and look at the other reviews from the PG-13 versions or whatever, feel free to do it. Not much is going to change. I'm only going to be talking about things that I kind of liked in it, and then we're going to be talking about what a hack Zack Snyder is. Okay, so Zack Snyder, the first iterations of these films were garbage, absolute garbage. I'm glad that Lucasfilm, whoever it was, said no, we're not making these into Star Wars films, or whatever the case may have been, because they shouldn't be, right? He takes heavily from Warhammer 40K, like the designs of planets and not atmospheres, but the design of planets and backgrounds and warships and weapons and all that. It's all heavily influenced by Warhammer 40K. And then we have the story. The story itself, in the first films, in the PG-13 versions of this film, the story was a mess. I mean, it felt so rushed and not only was it rushed, but it was pretentious and it was contrived. It felt just forced. Everything felt forced. And then we get Zack Snyder's complete ineptitude of being a director, because everything has to be in slow motion. The only thing that the director's cuts remedied for me was the excessive slow motion and the story. The story was more fleshed out. It was, let's put it this way. I'm gonna put it this way. The story was more fleshed out, but it was fleshed out by a lot, right? First film, Child of Fire, was like 2 hours and some change. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. Was like 2 hours and some change, right? The first film in the director's cut is 3 hours and 24 minutes long. Wow, right? That adds like another almost hour and a half to the film. When I watched it, I decided, to begin with, I said, I'm not watching this crap. There's no amount of blood, nudity, sex, whatever, that Zack Snyder can add to this film, or these films, that are going to make them any better. Nothing. And I am a man who will admit when I'm wrong. And I was wrong about this. I decided one night, after I saw that they were available on Netflix, I said, you know what, I'm going to go check them out. I need to go to sleep. I don't like the movies per se. So I'll just, I'll turn them on, see how different they really are. And then, I'll go to sleep with that. It started off so differently that I wound up being invested in it. And I got like an hour in and I said, hold on, I got to go to bed. And so I went to sleep. And then I got up the next day and I finished the movie. I'll put another period on it. I gave the first film 2 stars the first time I watched it, right? I watched the director's cut and I gave it 3.5 stars, because not only did they have a more coherent story, a more fleshed out story, a better told story, but the development of characters was better. Like we got more of a backstory about why Sofia Boutella's character was the way she was. We got more of a backstory about Nemesis and Prince, Shirtless Hero, and all the people. We got more of a story about them in these 2 films that made you actually become emotionally invested in their plight, right? The first iterations of these films, I could care less about these characters. I just saw it as like Zack Snyder's self-masturbatory film, whatever. He was just pleasuring himself with this film. That's what it felt like. He was just doing his own, I don't want to be vulgar, but he just enjoyed playing with his own toys kind of thing. And he didn't really care if he was developing anything. He just got people to give him money so he could play with the movies. And he wasn't trying to make good films, to me. I mean, maybe in his mind he was, but that dude was so hit or miss lately that, it wasn't worth watching. But these The director's cuts, I will give him credit. They were leaps and bounds better than their original incarnations, the PG-13 versions. They are just absolutely, the amount, okay, let's talk about the blood. The blood and the violence, right? There was, okay, more sex. There wasn't hardly any of that in the PG-13 versions, but this one I was like, golly, Zach, come on. Are you making an adult film or an actual movie here? And then there was the gore. And the gore was great because now this was supposed to be a Star Wars film, right? So, you know, we get our laser swords and we have some cutting. And the thing is, it's not like a lightsaber where it cauterizes, there's no blood. He's like, shakun. It looks like an old Lone Wolf and Cub film, some scenes. So it's really, really solid in that aspect. The violence, the action, but we still have that stupid slow motion, and he uses that stupid slow motion for everything. Anytime there's action, there's slow motion. Anytime we're doing a mundane task like drinking some water or harvesting some wheat, there's slow motion. Anytime we're taking one footstep, there's slow motion. If I'm blowing my nose, slow motion, and I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of his slow motion ineptitude at filmmaking. If you can't make a movie without, you know, every other scene being slow motion, stop making a movie. Stop making them. I mean, given Zack Snyder has an eye for set pieces, for the you know, picturesque. And his action sequences are good if they weren't slow motion so much. Like we have a scene of people harvesting and they're like the backdrop against the sun and the wheat's blowing and the plows are moving and it's beautiful. And we have a backdrop of like, you know, there's an action scene where they're like shooting some stuff and it's slow motion and the guy's like, through the air. And he's silhouetted against the sun. And, you know, this beautiful imagery, but it's his use of slow motion makes me think that he doesn't know what he's doing because he relies on it slow much. You know what I mean? I can't even say so much because I'm thinking about his slow motion. It's ridiculous and I hate it. But other than that, these two films, I don't remember, there's Chalice of Blood and Curse of Forgiveness, I think is the name of the two director's cuts. They are leaps and bounds better. So don't even watch the PG-13 versions. They should have released these instead of the PG-13 versions. Why Netflix chose to wait, I'll never know. But this would have been a better first impression if they'd have just released the director's cuts first. That's just me. So anyway, guys, I am going to give Rebel Moon Director's Cut Part 1 3.5 stars, and I'm going to give Rebel Moon Director's Cut Part 2 3 stars. So if you want to watch Rebel Moon at some point, and if you haven't already, and if you have already watched the PG-13 versions, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it is worth it to go back and watch these director's cuts because they are, again, tell a better story, flesh out the characters better action. It's not so congested with slow motion because there is more storytelling. Just check these out, guys. And if you haven't seen Rebel Moon, don't bother with the PG-13 versions. Just watch the director's cut, guys. Anyway, that's it for Rebel Moon, guys, part 1 and 2. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my reviews, by all means, like and subscribe, guys. If you've seen them, if you've seen all 4 parts, all whatever, put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. If you liked it, if you didn't like it. And as always, guys, I'm going to keep making them as long as you guys keep watching them. God bless you, my friends. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.